Thank you, everyone, for subscribing to Infinitely Productions. If you have not done so, please click the bell and subscribe, and we hope you enjoy our content.
Mr. Scarfo is presently involved.
Despite Simone's efforts in the courtroom, Scarfo was convicted in January 1981 of unlawful felony possession of a handgun. The judge gives him 3 years.
So Scarfo goes to Texas, and he's still running the family by meeting with people who were visiting him and sending messages back to his nephew, Phil Leonetti, who's the underboss.
According to Phil, Bob was passing messages from the family to Nick when he would go visit him in prison.
And when Nicky Scarfo is freed from prison in January of 1984, he's greeted at the prison door by his son, his nephew Phil Leonetti, and Bobby Simone.
By that point, Bobby Simone was probably as well known as Nicky Scarfo. I mean, you thought Bobby Simone, you thought Nicky Scarfo. You thought Bobby Simone, you thought the mob.
And it appeared that at each and every time that we were surveilling Scarfo and Leonetti, then Bobby Simone was there also.
He would be at dinner parties on Mr. Scarfo's boat down in Florida.
It may have been imprudent to be so sociable and so friendly with people that were always under the government microscope. But that's not dishonesty. That's just his choice of friends.
They used the expression mob lawyer. But actually, these Italian guys represented maybe 10 to 20% of my practice. But those are the cases that got the publicity, and those are the cases that the government expected to win. And by winning them, I made myself a target.
Indeed, in 1984, it's Bobby Simone who's facing criminal charges brought by the IRS. Simone has filed his tax returns on time. It's just that he doesn't actually pay. Simone owes the government almost $1 million in back taxes.
You can get prosecuted for tax evasion. That's a common phenomenon. You can get prosecuted for failure to file. But failure to pay, that's when you file your income tax returns and don't have enough money to pay. He's about the only guy I know that's been prosecuted for that.
I'm annoyed that this case was brought because it would not have been brought against any other lawyer than me.
For a defense lawyer, Bobby Simone picks the best he can, himself. His defense is simple. Simone explains that he is a gambling addict. He says he has squandered his money on fast women and slow horses.
He said to the jury, look, I owe money to the IRS, and I owe money to my bookmaker. Who would you pay?
I'll never forget it, the closing argument in that case, because there was a song out, it was called Somebody's Watching Me. Bob Simone took a recording of that song and put it on a cassette recorder and put it up on the jury box. Minutes. And they came back with a not guilty across the board.
I'm not a mob lawyer. I am a lawyer, and I think the jury has said that.
As Simone returns to hanging out with Scarfo and his soldiers, he is beginning to see a lot more of an old running buddy, Nicky the Crow Caramandi.
I represented him in a counterfeiting case many years ago. I did my best for him. I lost. He did a couple of years in jail.
When I came out of jail, Bobby was always my friend.
During the upheaval in La Casa Nostra and the Mafia in the 1980s, Caramandi comes to the fore because a lot of guys were getting killed. And so it created vacancies in the Mafia. So he rises in stature.
In June of 1986, Caramandi cooks up a scheme to shake down the multi-million-dollar waterfront renovation project called Penn's Landing and its nationally acclaimed developer, Willard Rouse. To build Penn's Landing, Rouse needs special legislation passed by the city council. But the key councilman on this project, Leland Bailoff, is in cahoots with the mob.
Caramandi saw me in a bar one night, and he said to me, I got this guy Rouse, I'm going to shake him down for Nicky and Philip. I'm going to get Philip all this concrete work, and we're going to make $1 million. I said, well, what are you telling me about this for? I said, I think you're crazy. I think you're going to go to jail.
Caramandi and Scarfo figured a developer of Philadelphia, they're used to paying bribes, they're going to go along with the program. It's the only way you get anything done. Rouse went running to the FBI.
Willard Rouse comes into our office and says, hey, my project manager gets approached by this guy wearing sunglasses and talking out of the side of his mouth, wants $1 million.
Within weeks, it's all over. Leland Bailoff, the crooked councilman, is arrested. So is Nicky the Crow Caramandi.
Caramandi expects to be represented by Bobby Simone. Caramandi is nervous because he knows Scarfo's upset that this whole thing is blown up. Not only have they blown $1 million, but now there's an investigation that might lead back to Scarfo.
It turned out that when we went to a preliminary hearing, I was representing Lee Beloff, and Caramandi was held for court himself.
I'm in the county jail, and I go outside in the yard, and I see this Long John Monterano. And him and me got talking.
During that conversation, Mortorano told Caramandi that they're going to go with Beloff, meaning they're going to use all their resources to try to get Beloff off, and this is what they have for you.
I said, "You sure?" He's positive. It's this. I went back to my cell, I'm laying there and I'm thinking, and I had no choice.
Nick Caramandi then telephoned the FBI and said, "Guess what, guys, I'm on your side now." And from then on became a protected government witness.
Now Bobby Simone's #1 client is facing a major federal charge.
I'm innocent, that's all.
And the government has a key mafia traitor ready to testify. But the feds are not just gunning for Scarfo, they've also got their sights set on Bobby Simone.
We were convinced that he had gone over the edge, and he now was very much immersed in the actual participation of crimes that were committed by organized crime members.
In 1987, defense attorney Bobby Simone is facing a new kind of challenge to his place as Philadelphia's mouthpiece for the mob. Nicky the Crow Caramandi has been arrested trying to extort money from developer Willard Rouse. Claiming he was afraid for his life, as most of them do, Caramandi goes over to the government side, and he delivers to the feds what they want most: Simone's client, Nicky Scarfo.
I never in a million years that I would talk. I was ready to go to jail, and I get this kind of message that Scarfo's going to kill me. So I made a deal with the government.
Once Caramandi starts cooperating in the Rouse extortion case, basically what Nick Caramandi is telling the government is Bobby Simone is helping put this whole thing in motion.
He said that I knew about the thing, which I did know about, but he went further and said that I was supposed to get 10% of it.
Be careful, that's what he said. But think of me at the same time. Be careful, but think of me. Make sure I get a piece of this thing.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and check out more of our content. Feel free to give your feedback and suggestions on what we should do next in the comments. This is Infinite Lee Productions. We love ya.